happy holidays. I'm just gonna ask this guy what his intentions are. Sometimes wisdom chases you, but you run faster. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is an exciting week because it is the holiday week. So the holidays are going on right now. It's going to be super busy this week for everyone. We got Christmas Eve, Christmas, Boxing Day for the Canadians, and then Cyber Monday. Is that a thing, or is that an American thing? I forget. But there's a lot of hoopla going on this week. And of course, in the game as well, it is the holiday Dream Shard event 2025. I think that's what it's called, something like that. So there's gonna be cute Christmas graphics. We're gonna get a gift on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So excited to see what that is. Let's go straight into the sleep report. Good thing I do have a sleep session, so the sleep tracking went well. This is sleep session 877. Oh my gosh. 888 should be something good, because in Asia, double eights is like eternal happiness. 8 is a very auspicious number. All right, so I have an exciting story to tell you guys for later. It's a pretty insane story. I told this to a friend and he was like, that's an insane story. So I can't wait to jump into that later on, but let's see what shows up. Ooh, we got a Pumpkaboo, top right corner there. There's a Darkrai. Ooh, a Paldean Wooper. That is good. Dang. Okay, so there's also the Darkrai. There's 3 Pokemon that I want to feed. There's another Pumpkaboo with lasers shooting out of its tatas. Oh, this is a 3-star sleep style. So I got all of them now. The 3-star looks the same as the 4-star, which is mildly disappointing, to be honest. All right, well, we're going to continue. Let's see, anyone hungry? Clodsire is hungry. And we're gonna get a bonus with that sense of trust that Darkrai feels from us. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna fill up the bars by itself. I'm honestly in no rush. So I'm going to give my bonus biscuit to the Pumpkaboo. I'm 1 cookie away from catching the Paldean Wooper. So I'm gonna give 1 cookie. And then because we have 2 Pumpkaboos on the field, if this Pumpkaboo gets full after the next cookie I give it, because it's a 50-50 chance, if that one is full, at least we have another one on the map that we can feed. So I used to make that mistake a lot in the past. When it's full, I was like, oh no, I can't catch it. And then I forget that there's another one there. Then I move on. The thing is, if you move on from the screen and you're at like the portrait selection, close your app, open it again, you're going to be brought back to the screen. That was a nice tip I got from a viewer 2 years ago when I started playing this game. And that has helped me out so many times when I prematurely end a sleep session. So the Pumpkaboo is not full yet, so we can just go ahead and catch it. And same Pokemons. Oh my god, I hate it when that happens. Same Pokemons on the field share the friendship bars. So yeah, this one goes back to 0. I'm not going to throw out any biscuits. I have 34. I bought everything in the shop, so I'm hoping to use all these cookies for the event this week. All right, let's see if it's any good. You know, I'll do Darkrai for those who want some Darkrai candies. I have not touched my Darkrai ever since the whole hoopla about it. I am excited to see what next year's big event will be for, you know, like last year, or was it 2 years ago? Last year. Or was it this year? Oh my god, I'm getting my days mixed up. But Gracilia and Darkrai, excited to see what will be the next duo. Oh, this is disappointing. It is not Mono Cacao like I wanted. So yeah, we're gonna move on. The stats kind of sucked too. Maybe I moved on too quickly from the stats. Let's go over this just to help some people out on recognizing how to decide whether or not it's worth investing in for your needs. Oh no, the last one is beans. So it is not Mono Pumpkin. Still on the hunt for a Mono Pumpkin though. Alright, so we got Dream Shard, Research EXP bonus, Helping Speed M, Recovery bonus, and Ingredient Finder M. Even if this were, okay, you know what? If I didn't have a Mono Pumpkaboo, I would use it, probably level it up to level 30 to get pumpkins if I'm like really desperate. But I wouldn't go further into investing resources into it. Also, it depends on the amount of candies you have, right? So I probably wouldn't even touch this. But I guess the important thing, the sub-natures for new players who might be joining around this time of the year, this is an ingredient finding Pokemon, so ideally you want ingredient finding. Helping Speed is a really great one. But as you can see here, ingredient finding doesn't come out until the very end at level 100. And right now, current players cannot even get to level 100. So there is that. It's going to farm pretty slowly. And the first 2 gold skills, I would rather not have it. There's helping speed M is really good because it shortens the frequency, which makes your Pokemon help out quicker. But I mean, energy recovery bonus too. The gold skills, they have like uses for them if you know what you're looking for. But these 3 gold skills do nothing for me. Helping bonus is a really good gold skill though. And berry finding S. But the rest have like their own little niches, purposes to them, but isn't really groundbreaking when it comes to ingredient finding Pokemon. Anyways, let's look at the holiday event. Let's look at the details. Look how cute everything is. They're snowballs, you know? And I find that so cute. Alright, so happy holidays! This week-long event is a special time when Ice-type Pokemon are particularly active, and to commemorate Togedemaru's debut, Steel-type Pokemon will be particularly active too. Also during this event, certain Pokemon such as Seditan will appear on Greengrass Isle. You may even meet Spheo wearing a holiday wreath or a shiny Pokemon! So shiny odds are increased. Make sure to take your naps just so that you can encounter more Pokemon and therefore have more chances of rolling on a shiny. There will be various other bonuses as well, including opportunities to get double or more Dream Shards during sleep research and use the Candy Boost function. This is not the mini Candy Boost, this is a regular Candy Boost. Additionally, Dream Gifts will be delivered besides Snorlax on Christmas Eve and Christmas, and the event period goes on until Monday when you do your sleep session for Sunday. So the event area is only in Greengrass Isle and Greengrass Isle Expert. So yeah, in the previous video, I totally forgot about that, and I think I mentioned perhaps going to the tundra. Ignore what I said there. Your girl has been all over the place lately. So my bad on that. I'm going to Greengrass Isle. I'm not going to do expert mode. One, because I don't really have a good ice type Pokemon for berries or steel. So I'd rather just take it easy at Greengrass Isle regular mode. And these are the effects that will be triggered all day for the event. So each time a ice or steel type helper Pokemon brings you an ingredient as it regularly would, it will bring 1 extra. The chance of any ice or steel type helper Pokemon's main skill being triggered will be multiplied by 1.25. So higher chances of proccing their skill. Main skill levels of ice and steel type Pokemon will be boosted by 3 when triggered. So if their main skill is 2, it'll be 5, which you feel such a huge boost in power. Obviously, if they're max level, you're not going to get 3 more, so kind of sucks for veteran players, but this makes me happy for new players who get to feel what a well fleshed out Pokemon looks like. The Snorlax in the event areas will have Raspberry and Belluberry set as 2 of his favorite berries, and the last one is chosen at random. So if you were prepared before, you would have prepared for these favorite berries. And it's great for expert mode because usually all the berries are random. Now with the berry types fixed for this event, people who want to engage in expert mode have more control over the numbers that they will get at the end of the week, since they know what berries are going to be there. Certain Pokemon will be more likely to appear during sleep research. A few Pokemon of different sleep types will appear regardless of your sleep session for that day, so you don't have to do any fancy manipulation stuff. The limited time Candy Boost function will be available, and you may even meet a shiny Pokemon. So Christmas Eve, you get the Dream Gift and you get Dream Shards from the sleep research. And the Dream Shards you get from sleep research will be doubled. On Christmas Day, you get another Dream Gift, but the Dream Shards you get from that research will be tripled. As well as the last day of the event, and on every other day, it is doubled, the Dream Shard amount that you get from sleep research. So very exciting. All that Dream Shards will be great for when you want to use the Candy Boost function to level up any Pokemon that are maybe a little bit behind. You definitely can toggle it off though, but the cost of Dream Shards for that is pretty astronomical. So do take a look out to that. So let's go to our research site. Actually, no, it's going to go to the weekly review, and then we could pick our research site, which will be Greengrass Isle. But I had fun in the Amber Canyon. Should I have gone to the tundra this week to prepare for an ice type? Perhaps, but at the same time, I had other objectives that I wanted to meet. So, I mean, not a huge waste of my time, since I did catch quite a few Pokemon. It's just the Pokemon I did catch sucked. So I have nothing to show you guys, to be honest. And I've already accomplished M20 on this, so yeah, I'm just gonna continue going regular. I don't want to do expert mode because I want to make sure that I get the highest drowsy power as possible, because that also will coincide with the calculations for the amount of dream shards you get, and I want to get as much dream shards as possible. Okay, so Pecha Berry, drinks and dessert again. I've been getting a lot of drinks and dessert, and you know what? I've been eating a lot of drinks and dessert lately. I've been eating so much chocolate and candy, and normally I don't really crave sweet things, so I mean, it's a surprise for me, but I've been enjoying it so much. I've been having a lot of visitors come by too, so my little candy bowl is always full of different snacks, different delights. And I love having friends over. I love hosting. I love taking care of the people that come over as well. And you know what? People will not remember what you did to them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So every time I have time with people, I give them my undivided attention, and I really like to make sure that they leave the interaction feeling seen and warm and happy. And that way, every time they think of me, they just have really fond memories. Or if they don't remember the memories, they just have a really fond memory of the feeling I've left them with. That is something I love to do. Acts of service is very much the love language I give to people. And you know what? I like acts of service too. But you know what? To be loved is to be seen, to be considered, and to have someone say, I remember, you know, remember your favorite yogurt, your favorite food item. What is your special modification on orders that you do without you having to constantly remind them? I feel like that goes so much more in showing consideration and showing love than just the act and feeling of pouring love into someone, you know? Alright, so we made the Jigglypuff fruit flan. I'm quite happy I got desserts for this week because I just find it so fitting for the festive season. Okay, so let's take a look at the decor because that is always fun to see. You definitely see this feels. The other years it was like Pikachus and Eevees, I think, but you see this feels with the wreath. So cute! And there's a little tree over there as usual. Oh my gosh, it's just looking so cute. You got some mistletoe on the floor. Okay, let's proc my Wigglytuff. Oh, no skills. Interesting. Oh, and then the Snorlax there and the Spheal there. Oh, and there's like there's star decorations on the trees there, and star string lights too. Oh, and a little stocking. Okay, cute. Let's see what our mission reward. We got the Spheal incense. So Ultra 1 will get us the Togedemaru incense, and then Master 1 will give us the City 10 incense. I'm pretty sure there's use 7 incenses, so I gotta remember to do this. This is the one that I always am bad at remembering to do. And if you cook 12 times, you get the Pikachu hat 1 incense. Last year was the Eevee hat, I believe. I think that's how they do it. But even though the holiday Pokemon is the Wreath Spheal, you have the chance still to encounter the Holiday Eevee and Holiday Pikachu. Let's place my incenses down right away because I just want to make sure I get into the habit of doing that. So I have a Holiday Eevee incense. I'm pretty sure I have a Pikachu incense as well, or Holiday Pikachu. Actually, no I don't. I guess I used it. But what Pokemon should... Oh, actually it's right there. What Pokemon incense do I want to use? I actually don't think I want to use any of these Pokemon incenses, and I can't use this yet because of the time. I need to wait till 3 p.m. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it at that, and then later on in the week I'll use a friend incense. Alright, so let's go straight into the sleep research community. We've got a lot to yap about. But before we yap, you know the deal. This is my latte of the day. I picked up more of the peppermint pinwheel pods. I was so happy. My friend and I went to the mall, so we passed by Nespresso. I got 2 sleeves this time because the other 2 times I bought it, I only bought 1 sleeve, and each time I finished it, I told myself, I wish I got 2 sleeves. So this time I listened to myself, so I got 2 sleeves. And I am using my brown sugar banana syrup. I actually made this latte with the Altisio pod though, with the brown sugar banana syrup for my friend the other day when she was here. and that is like her new hyperfixation thing. So I gave her some syrup to bring home so she can like replicate it, and I gave her the recipe, and I'm just so happy that she likes it. Now the thing is, she and we have very different tastes when it comes to food. My friends joke that I have grandma taste buds because I like really healthy, sometimes even bland things. Like one of my favorite snacks is just plain cornflakes, but I like what I like, you know? So that is also why I cater my snacks depending on the type of people that come. I kind of get to know what their preferences are and what their favorites are, and I buy that so that whenever they come over, they have something nice to eat. But my friend who came over, she said out of all the things I've made, this is the thing that impresses her the most because of this syrup I made. So highly recommend you guys to try it out if you like banana bread. The thing is, I don't really like banana that much. I do like banana bread, but I'm not like crazy over it. But it just goes so well with the coffee flavors. Like the profiles mix so well. So I'll share the recipe in the description. Definitely try it out. When it comes to the amount of cinnamon you put though, measure with your heart. People like different amounts of cinnamon. I like a lot of cinnamon. But without further ado, cheers to the holidays. I hope that we all get what we want. Good shinies. A shiny Seditan would be so cute. I just hope I get a shiny of something I don't already have, you know? But yeah, cheers to the holidays, you guys. So good. Alright, you guys, so I have a crazy story to tell you. The Friday that had just passed, no, not Friday. My condo party was supposed to be on Friday, but then it got moved. So basically I had a condo party. It was organized by the people who manage the condo, and it was so much fun. I must say, hey, they already got one. Guess they're from the future. It was so much fun. I showed up alone because, you know, I live alone, and I was like, I'm super excited to meet my neighbors and make new friends. So I go there. You know what? I feel like the more I'm going to these events and social events alone, the less I feel awkward about being alone. Because I feel like before I would be like, oh my god, people are gonna look at me and they're like, why is she alone, you know? But then when you really think about it, people are so caught up in their own lives that you're just a random background character in their life. And they probably won't even remember you or even notice that you're alone or even care, because they're probably thinking the same thing about like, how am I presenting? Am I interesting enough? Did I say the right thing? La da 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 da, you know, all that stuff. So the more I've been going to things alone, the more I've been overcoming my fear of just showing up and socializing with people I never knew. And it's been so fun just to see the amount of growth I've had, but also to see that even though I say I'm very introverted and I have social anxiety, I'm so good at overcoming my fear, and I'm really quite good at socializing. Like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think I'm really good at conversating with people, making them feel seen, asking really good questions, and, you know, validating their experience and time. So it's great to see how I show up, and it's also just great to see the interactions with other people that I get to experience who I don't know. So I show up, I kind of make a round, say hi to all the condo employees that manage the event, say hi to some people I knew. I grabbed a glass of white wine. I prepared my plate of snacks, which is consisted of a variety of different brownies and some veggies, because I had already eaten dinner before going to the event. I had minestrone soup, so that was really good and very filling. So I showed up to the event not too hungry, but I wanted to nibble a bit while I enjoy my white wine. So I'm sitting on the sofa, I'm sitting next to a couple, and I want to talk to them, but the body language, like her back was against me. So I just wanted to, you know, let them have their time together, because they seemed like they were really enjoying each other's company and taking photos and pictures and like singing together. Music was good. Music was good. It was like early 2000s stuff. There were a lot of children. So that was a little overstimulating sometimes, because they were playing with balloons and like bumping them everywhere, and then so on top of like mingling and walking around and trying to get your food and like bringing your wine with you, you gotta dodge the kids that are like running around and playing with the balloons. But it was so lovely to see them all get along, and it's also so touching to see how easy it is for children to make friends, you know? So I love that. Very inspiring, gave me courage. But as I was sitting on the sofa enjoying my drink and enjoying my snacks, I saw across from me there was a table, and there was this older gentleman who was also alone, and he was eating. He turned around later on and he said to me, do you mind if you just watch my food for a while because I'm gonna get another drink, because he was drinking red wine. And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, I'll watch your stuff. And then he took a look at my glass and I'm like almost done with my drink, and he's like, can I get you another drink or like any food? And I'm like, I'm good with food, but if you're gonna offer, I would love to have another white. So he comes back, hands me my white wine, and there's some seat next to me on the sofa. So I'm like, do you want to sit down instead of standing up? And he was like, okay. And then he sits next to me and he's like, I feel so lucky to sit next to someone so beautiful. And I'm like, haha, you flatter me. So we talk a bit and, you know, asking simple questions and stuff like that. I told him I was 31 and he was like, you're 31? And I'm like, yeah, why do you seem... Gina found a shiny why not? So cute. Bubblegum pink. But yeah, I was like, why do you seem so shocked that I'm 31? And he was like, I thought you were like a college student. And I'm like, interesting. And then I asked him for his age and he seemed very hesitant. Oh my gosh, Evo Stevo found Bluey's dad. A Houndoom. Shiny though. Beautiful color. So he seemed hesitant, but he was like, I'm like 60 something. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then he asks for my name, so I tell him, and then I ask him for his name. And again, he's hesitant. And he finally gave me his name. And I'm like, why did you seem hesitant to give me your name? And he was like, well, you know, I'm Middle Eastern, and you know, with the state of the world, you never really know how people are going to view you. And I'm like, hey, look, man, I don't judge. I'm not quick to judge people. I let time dictate what their true character is. So that's my approach when it comes to meeting people. But yeah, so we get to talking. I learned that he lives here alone because I was like, oh, are you here alone? Do you have children, like a wife or anything? And I had learned that he has 2 kids, but they're in their early to mid 20s. He had divorced his wife a couple years ago. They stuck it through just for the children though. Another red flag I noticed is that he didn't seem to remember his kid's age. So that was interesting. I mean, we were just talking about life and our experiences. The thing is, I have so much respect for older people, and I love being friends with older people because I feel like typically at that age, they have experienced so much of what life has to offer. So they've probably had gone through many lessons and experiences that I can learn from, you know? So I love hearing their stories and sharing mine. So I'm noticing like he's sharing his story, I'm sharing my story, and he's like, wow, you're so mature for your age. And I find that funny because, I mean, even though I do feel older now compared to when I was 20, he's like double my age, you know? And like, so subjectively, I am like pretty young. But to hear that in your 30s is also, it puts a highlight onto how different is the mindset that I have now compared to other peers of my age group, because I do interact with some of them, but I find in my day-to-day, I don't meet new people in my age group often. So I don't really know what it looks like other than what my friends are like. But usually, you know, you are the sum of the people you hang out with. And I like to think that I like to hang out with very level-headed people as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be friends with them. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing for him to say to me. Interesting in a very different way as well, which I will get into later in the story. So we get to talking and he asked me what my ethnicity is, and I said I am Vietnamese. And then he starts whipping out some Vietnamese sentences, and I'm like, that's actually very impressive. Like, what made you decide to learn Vietnamese? And he told me that he used to have a Vietnamese girlfriend, and that was why he learned the language. And I'm like, that is so cute that you put in enough effort to learn the language so that you can talk to her. So I was like, have you ever, you know, we were talking about like travels. I was like, have you ever been to Vietnam? And he was like, yeah, I've been to Vietnam, China, Korea. Like, he's traveled a lot in Asia. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Asia seems to be his favorite place to travel. I later learned that he has also dated other Asian women. That is when my yellow flag kind of goes up. And then I learned that he goes on international dating sites a lot, and it seems like his preference is Asian women. Surprise, surprise, you know, the yellow fever is kicking strong. So I'm just taking it for what it is. You know, I'm not judging too hard on that. People have their preferences, but I do take it as a data point to note down, okay? So as the conversation continues to flow, I'm learning a lot more about him. He seems self-aware enough to know that there's some scammers on the dating website, especially Asian women who might only date with the intention of wanting to move overseas or like get a passport. So he seems aware of that and he looks out for the red flags, which is good. But one thing that I found striking was when, keep in mind, he's 60. And look, people live their own lives, let them do what they want to do. But when he told me that one of his exes was a 32-year-old Vietnamese girl, I was like, wow, that's only 1 year older than me. You know what I mean? And I didn't make a comment on that. I just like silently took note of that because I was like, damn. I mean, I feel like age gaps can work out. It really depends on where you are in life. You know what I mean? So for him to date so young, is it because she was so mature and had so much life experience that she can relate to him? Or is it that he has not matured or learned certain lessons that he can relate to someone so young in this stage of his life? You know, so I'm thinking about this stuff as I continue talking to him. So the conversation goes, and I'm starting to notice he's feeling a little good. You know, he got he got some wine going in him. I think at this point we're like maybe 2 glasses in. I'm still good though. But he asked me, he's like, do you drink whiskey? And I'm like, I mean, I only really drink social events like this. I don't have any alcohol in my condo. I'm not like go out of my way to drink type of person, you know. But if I'm at an event and there's alcohol, like I will partake socially. And he's like, I have really good whiskey in my unit. And then he's starting to talk to me about like asking me about what my apartment looks like. And I learned that he lives in a studio, and I shared that I live in a 1-bed, 1-bath. And he was like, oh, you should come like visit my unit. And I'm like, it's okay. And he's like, really? Are you sure I have like really good whiskey? We could just, you know, enjoy a glass later. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And then he persists again. And to this point, I'm like, look, you're really generous with your offer, but I'm gonna have to politely decline. And then he stopped. So thankfully that was it. Now you might be wondering at this point, why are you continuing on with this conversation? Look, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, okay? And also I like to take these moments to observe people because I feel like I can learn so much from it as well, okay? So the night goes on. The most exciting part, this is what happens next. The condo raffle. So there's raffles going on. There's multiple prizes, gift cards, 2 Nespresso machines that are going to be given out to a lucky winner. The first Nespresso machine got won by a new mom and dad who just gave birth. They brought their newborn, and if you know newborns, they sleep through anything. So that baby slept like a baby angel the entire night. So when they won the Nespresso machine, I'm like, dang, congrats to them because they're definitely gonna need the coffee. And then I turn over to my 60-year-old friend and I was like, dang, I wish I win the next one. And he looks at me and he's like, let me buy you a coffee machine for Christmas. And I'm like, no, I don't need that. Like, I have a coffee machine at home, the same model. I just want to win it because if I win it, I get to gift it to someone else in my life. And then he was like, well, if I win anything from the raffle, I'll gift it to you. And I'm like, no, please don't, like, keep it for yourself, you know? So the raffle continues and I just feel, I know deep down inside, I just get a feeling I'm gonna win something, you know? And I freaking won something. Was it the Nespresso machine? No, it was not the Nespresso machine, but I won a gift card. So I'm super excited about that. And I just felt so lucky, you know? So that was like the highlight of my night. So after the raffle is done, we sit back on the sofa and he's continuing to talk to me. You know, I'm just probing about his life. Like I like to ask people questions just to get as much out of them in terms of like what their life experiences were, who they are now, what lessons had they learned. And, you know, I feel like moments like that, you learn a lot about people, you know, you learn a lot about whether or not they have grown self-awareness, critically can think for themselves, can they self-regulate, do they have the ability to stay grounded, so on and so forth. One thing I learned from my interaction with him is that age does not mean jack shit. When people go through life events, people can either go autopilot through them and not really take the time to think about what happened and learn from that experience and grow, while others just continue to move past forward and not learn a damn thing about it. So I felt like I learned not much from him because a lot of what he shared with me was already things I've already realized myself just through life experiences and things that have happened to me. So when I'm sharing my stuff, he's like, wow, I am so proud of you. Like, you are so smart. You are so mature. Like, any guy would be lucky to have you. And you're beautiful. And you're educated. And now here I'm like, you know, I think most people, you know, the flattery is nice, you know. The flattery is nice, but I'm not one to be really wooed by flattery like that because, I mean, looks fade, you know. I feel the most flattered when I feel like the other person can really see the depth of me in what I can share and what I have been through in life. And they can pick up on the subtle nuances of that. There's not much times where I've experienced that. So I am excited to see what it's like when I do meet someone who I can conversate with, who can lean in on those sorts of topics. But the experience has taught me that, yeah, even at that age, sometimes people just don't go through the growth of internal literacy, you know? So yeah, side note on that. So continuing on with what the night was looking like for us. You know, we're drinking more, we're cheersing. I'm enjoying the free flow of alcohol. Anytime, like, he noticed. And there were moments throughout the night where he was still quite the gentleman in not letting me get up to go get my drink or to get food. He would always offer to do that. And before you think like, oh my God, what if he spikes your drink? There's always someone at the counter, and it's like a pretty contained area. So, I mean, there's a lot of eyes, you know. And also bold to spike someone's drink during a condo event where there's like cameras as well. So yeah, I wasn't too worried about that. Had it been out in public, I think definitely I would have handled that the drink getting by myself. But as we're continuing to talk, he once again brings up the whole whiskey thing, and he's like, are you sure you don't want whiskey? You know, like, I make a really good steak. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm really good. And then he asked one more time. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask this guy what his intentions are, because he seems to like really want to share a night of drinking with me. Let's just see what his intentions are. Not that I was going to entertain it, but I want to know what kept motivating him to ask me. So I'm like, well, what's your intentions with me? And he's like, whatever you want. And at this point, I'm like, I really don't like that answer. I really do not like that answer, because then it meant that he was open for more, and he didn't value the connection we had just based on friendship and conversation the way I did, and that he was open to something more intimate had it let that way, whereas I didn't even have that thought across my mind, you know? So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm like, hey, I'm letting you know right now what, like, this interaction is strictly platonic. And then he tells me, no, like, I get it. You know, like, one time I had this girl over, and she was sleeping on my bed, so I slept on the sofa, you know, because I'm a gentleman. But then she asked me to come on the bed with her, and, you know, I just laid there next to her. I didn't make any move. And I didn't comment on it, but I was thinking to myself, like, as if that's gonna change my mind. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. He then talks to me about like how he's a business owner and he has the higher tier Costco membership. Now, I don't understand the flex because I don't really understand the Costco system. I don't have a membership. I don't really go. And my mom goes to Costco, but like that's like the most I know about it. So he whips out his Costco membership card, and I remember when I was telling my friend this, he sent me this meme of like when a guy flexes his Costco membership. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, he's like talking to me about Costco, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I know nothing about Costco, so I might as well just ask him questions. So I'm like, so what do you buy there? Like, everything's in bulk. Don't you feel like you're spending a lot of money? So he's telling me like what he buys, what's worth it, what's not worth it. And then he's like, oh, you know, like if ever you want to go to Costco, like I can bring you. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, oh, well, I go to the grocery store nearby here, so it's like, it's fine. And I'm only just one person. Like, what am I going to do with all this produce, you know? And then it gets to the point in the night where it is finally 9 p.m. So the condo organizers were like, hey guys, I'm gonna leave now. Enjoy the rest of your night. You can continue the party if you want, but the last one here has to turn off all the lights. So in my head, I'm like, that's my cue to dip. So I get up and I'm like, well, it's time for me to go. And lo and behold, he follows me. So I'm with 3 condo employees, the 60-year-old man, and myself. We're a party of 5. walking back to my condo. And I'm talking with the girls, you know, like telling them how it was such an enjoyable night and thank you for all their efforts for organizing this, because I love the community aspect of it and like seeing people. And yeah, we get to the elevators, and at one point the 60-year-old guy mentioned something about his beard. I wasn't fully listening, but one of the girls was like, well, you know, not all women likes beard, and you know, Eutrope might not like a beard. And then she was like, you better be on your best behavior or else I might have to block your key fob from Eutrope's floor. And that was when I was like, okay, other people are noticing something that I have been noticing as well, which is great. And then the two girls get off at the first floor. The main handyman of the building, he was supposed to go on the second floor, but he decides not to, because earlier before we got into the elevators, I mentioned that on my floor, the garbage chute area, people have been leaving their furniture there, and they have been like, it's been there for a while. It's not there anymore, but I just noticed that someone's not properly maintaining the garbage chute area, and it kind of gets in the way when you're like opening the door to get into the garbage chute area, because now the room is cramped, you know. And I mentioned that just because I thought it was like interesting feedback to share with them. I'm glad I mentioned it because it gave the handyman guy an excuse to escort me to my floor. So my 60-year-old friend was like, hey, isn't this the second floor? Are you getting off? And the handyman guy was like, no, I'm gonna check out like the garbage chute thing that Eutrope mentioned. So the 60-year-old guy, he lives on the 6th floor. The 6th floor opens and he's like, so can I get your number so we can go to Costco together? And I'm like, no, it's okay. I have friends and family that can bring me if I ever want to go. And he's like, are you sure? Like, I could take you. And I'm like, no, really, thank you. It's okay. And then the handyman, the door's about to close. The handyman stops the door from closing with his feet. And he's like, isn't this your floor? And then the 60-year-old guy, who's like, yeah. And then he leaves. The door is closed. I look at the handyman guy and I'm like, thank you so much. And he's like, of course. Not all heroes wear capes, my friend. I'm so glad that I had people looking out for me. And you know what? A part of me does feel guilt for not walking away from this interaction far sooner than I should have. So, you know, that's on me. But I feel like the entire experience has really taught me that I can say no, keep my boundaries, say what's on my mind, honestly. And it was just a good experience to see the depths of someone at that age. You know what I mean? So I gained so much from that experience, and I'm lucky nothing happened. And it was just something that I learned a lot from. Also, I can say that I, in my lifetime, spent an evening drinking with a 60-year-old guy. So that was a very interesting experience, and it really taught me, one, that moving forward in the future, if I don't want to continue an interaction, I can just walk away from it. I decided to stay as much as I did because I just want to get a good grasp of like, what's this guy's deal? You know what I mean? What is his deal? And now that I get a good idea of what it looks like, I know for the next time when to walk away, you know? So that was like my game plan, to observe. The other thing I noticed is that with age does not come wisdom. Sometimes wisdom chases you, but you run faster. So there is that. Internal literacy is very much a skill that people might not ever obtain in their life, and you gain this through, you know, traumatic events in your life, maybe a loss, or through going through therapy. And I've been through all three, so there's that. But I also taken the time to really sit with my feelings and thoughts and unravel them. So I like to practice a lot of self-awareness and introspection and identifying the need behind the feeling. And I really have taken an approach where I reflect before I react in real time. So for example, if I'm feeling something, I have no issue with properly communicating it during the moment where I'm like, yeah, this makes me feel uncomfortable, or I'm feeling a little bit shy right now. You know, I'll outrightly communicate that to the person I'm with. But also, I also take that time to kind of try to understand why is it that I feel that way right now, and work through it real time during my interactions with people, so that I don't fall into the trap of feeling a certain way and then acting and showing up in a way where I'm going to regret later on. You know what I mean? So doing that is also a skill that I have developed over the last several years, which has been super helpful when I engage in interactions moving forward, especially after the breakup I had, because my social life is a lot more vibrant now. I'm meeting a lot new people and interacting with a lot of new characters in my life. It's crazy how in this season of my life, I'm in an entirely new home, back at home in Canada though, but new environment, new characters at play. Some characters from season 5, 6, and 7 that are back in my life. Some characters from season 1 as well. And it's just so crazy to see how it's played out, but also to see how much I've grown and how much I've been showing up in this space. So I've been having plenty of fun. I don't see negative experiences as something that is a waste of time, because ultimately those moments teach you so much, as well as the positive moments that may teach you a lot in life. So yeah, that was my story, my friends. That is the night that I spent an evening drinking the night away with a 60-year-old man. So I had quite a bit of wine, but I metabolized alcohol pretty quickly, so I didn't get drunk. I maintained a good buzz, which is great. And despite what happened, I still had a pleasant night asking questions and learning about him. Now, one thing that I wish I would have done, because later in the tail end of the night, I noticed someone that was like so cute, you know? And I was like, dang, I want to approach him and talk to him. But I'm so occupied right now. And I'm pretty sure everyone throughout the night was like seeing how me and him were talking the entire night. So people aren't going to like, you know, come up and approach us. But I mean, the next time a condo event comes up and I see him again, I'm gonna go up and talk to him. So that is what happened during the condo holiday Christmas party. I had so much fun. I learned so much. I won a gift card. I won the raffle. That was like the highlight of my night. And yeah, it's a fun story to share whenever I tell people. I love watching their reactions. And yeah, that was my night. Now, do I have plans on Christmas? I'm not sure yet. I have plans Christmas Eve, so I'm looking forward to that. But Christmas Day, I'm not sure. Am I buying anything for Boxing Day? No, I didn't really even buy anything for Black Friday besides my TV that I got on sale on Amazon. But yeah, I'm pretty content with everything in my life right now, so I haven't really felt the need to buy stuff. Maybe clothes, because before I moved to Singapore, I gave a lot of my sweaters and knits to my little sister. I'm obviously not going to ask for them back because she's like using them, but I am a little underprepared to dress for the cold weather outside. So maybe if there are some sweaters on sale and stuff like that, I would buy that, just because it's really cold. So cold that my finger cracked again and it hurts. I need a pair of mittens, but I'm telling myself I could just knit them myself because I can knit and crochet. So yeah, probably should buy some yarn and then start knitting some mittens for myself. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little ramble session and that you enjoyed the story. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever experienced anything like that, or share your stories as well. I love to hear stories like this. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it every time you do. It'll be like your little Christmas gift for me. Join us in the Discord if you haven't yet. Check out all my other social media that you can see in the description, and consider becoming a member as well, so you can use cute little emotes and have a little badge next to your name every time you interact in the comment section. So until then, you guys, I hope you have a good week for this festive holiday event going on, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, good luck, and have fun. Bye!